out there. My name is Muhammad Abubakar, welcoming you to another edition of the program Reflections. We try in the program to reflect on the life of those outstanding Nigerians that have in one way or the other contributed immensely to the development of the country. Our guest today was born on the 10th of November 1946 in the ancient city of Jalungu in the present days Taraba State. He is the product of the prestigious Jalungu Junior Primary School in Jalungu, as I said, in Taraba State, and also the product of the prestigious Rumfa College in Kano, and also another product of the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Of course, in the course of the program, we shall hear from him, his sojourn in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and how it was. My guest is Honorable Justice Mahmud Mohammed, the retired Chief Justice of Nigeria, a proud recipient of OFR, CON, most importantly, GCON, which is Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger. Join me to welcome Honorable Justice Mahmud Mohammed, the retired Chief Justice of Nigeria, in the program. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Sir, traditionally, we request from the guest to tell the viewer, or rather to share with the public, the little he can remember about his background. What is your story, sir?
Well, my background, you see, I started my education from the Quranic school in Jalungu. At that time, in fact, most of our children, in fact, hated going to primary schools because we regarded it as, in fact, if you go there, you will go to hell. So that's what the case. In fact, we had education at all. So that was why, in fact, in 1953, when, in fact, the warhead who was to go around his words, to take children to primary school. In fact, he came to our house, and then, in fact, I was dragged into, I was crying because I didn't want to go to school at all. So as soon as they took me to the primary school, and then the rest of it, I will be there today, 2 weeks I will not go. I will be there today, 2 or 3 I will not go. That's how. But when I reached primary 3, then I became a little bit stable. So I finished primary school, and they went to the senior primary school, which was then boarding. So in fact, after that, I went over to Kaduna Secondary Technical College of Kaduna.
Okay. Before then, sir, how many of you in your family were enrolled into the primary school?
In fact, I was the only one. At the time, because I had my elder brother who agreed earlier on to go to the school, but later on he revolted, he refused to go. So I was the younger one, so I was dragged to the primary school. Okay. This is how I started my education before going to secondary school. Then it was Kaduna Secondary Technical. From there, later on, it was converted by the Northern Nigeria government into Government College Kaduna. After my work, then I went to Rumfa College for my higher school certificate in 1965, which I finished in 1966, before I came back to ABU again.
Okay, before going to ABU,
yes.
How was life in Government College Kaduna first, before transiting later to Rumfa College?
Well, in Kaduna Government College, because honestly,
the distance between Jalungu and Kaduna is quite...
It's quite. In fact, it's a big. At that time, roads were not good. In fact, if you are coming, after rains, in fact, the controller will close the gate, the road, until after, in fact, sometimes before it was open. So it was up his task for coming from Jalingo to Kaduna. So usually we break at Jos, the intertrain. In the train, then we go up to the government college.
When you say we, it means you are not the only person from Jalingo coming to Kaduna for the education.
No, I was the only one at that time. I was the only one. But there are people, other students, because at that time only two students were taken from provincial, from the provinces.
From the province.
Two also were taken from Adamawa province then. Myself and Professor Jacob, in fact he died. So it was from there that we traveled to Kaduna. But there are others also who are from the province. I remember some of them in Numan, some of them in Yola. So we converged to enter a vehicle to Jos and then join the train. So this is how we have been doing all along in my education in Kaduna.
So how was life in Kaduna, especially in the school?
Yes, in the school, glad I attended that. In fact, government Kaduna, which arose out of the secondary technical, we have very good teachers. And in fact, the entire college then were 92, from Form 1 up to Form 6. So no class which is more than 25 students. So that's what's on. So we have adequate care by teachers to teach us properly. So that's why at the end of it, particularly my class, which we nicknamed the independence class, because we went there 1960. 1960. So at the end of it, honestly, we have with regard to the quality of education we have been receiving. In fact, 9 of us in my class made first class was second campus certificate. So from there, we went to
Can you recollect some of those, maybe 5 out of those 9 you mentioned?
Yes.
Like who and who?
Like, it's Professor Human, he's a professor of English. Now he retired. He's
alive?
He's alive. And there's also Professor Ibrahim Kiawa. He's now, in fact, a lecturer in the University, Bayero University. He was seconded to Jigawa State University.
Who was in INEC?
He was.
Okay.
So
who again?
There's also Abdullah Musa. He's also a permanent secretary in Bauchi. He has now retired.
Retired. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There's also one Sule Fmr. He also was a civil engineer. Because all of us who made first class went into the university with flying colors.
Okay.
Honestly. And then there is also, in fact, Rufus, Lieutenant General Rufus Kupalati.
Kupalati.
In fact, who joined the army and rose to the rank of Lieutenant General. So he was also a classmate. So in fact, most of us wanted to go to Defense Academy at that time in our class. But we couldn't make it in 1964 because the examination was cancelled. So even Rufus Kupalati, it was after his graduation as a civil engineer that he joined the army.
He joined the army.
Yes.
Okay.
But my ambition at that time, the government college, was to join the army. But
so in the school, talking about, I know,
yes,
extracurricular activities,
yes,
games,
yes,
club and societies. I don't know which of the clubs do you belong to?
There's a lot of discipline in the Kaduna Government College. You can't even if you pick a paper, you can't. If you come and cross it without picking it, it is an offense. You could punish.
That is punishable.
Punishable. Because the entire environment of the school must be kept clean. So, in fact, you see, I belong to many clubs in the school. Particularly, in fact, my hobby is photography. In fact, we have a very strong photography club. And apparently, in fact, I became its president before 1964, before I went. We used to have very good photographs. We have a dark room, we have everything. In fact, it was there.
Okay. So by your looking at your physical structure,
yes,
is suggestive of the fact that you could probably you were a victim of bullying in the school. Were you ever a victim of bullying by the much hefty?
No. There's a lot of discipline in the school. No senior will bully a junior in the Kaduna Government College because the high discipline. But all the prefects, the head boys, they control all the students below them. So there's a lot of discipline. But hardly you can find someone bullying someone in the school.
And the food being served in the school?
Yes.
Was okay?
It was okay. It was okay. No complaint.
3 square meals?
3 square meals. 3 square meals. And not only that, in fact, the government used to have to give us uniform. In fact, soap even to wash your clothes, everything. So that's how, in fact, I finished my government college Kaduna with first class certificate.
So the certificate you got from Government College Kaduna is what qualified you further to further your education to Kano Rumfa
College, yes. In fact, it was a high school certificate. In fact, I was to read science subjects, but somehow, because I suffered a lot of duodenal ulcer pain, because
even at that age.
Even at that age. So in fact,
so it affected your studies?
It affected my studies because I was in the hospital for 6 months. 6 months before the doctor operated on me.
Even at that age?
But it was a big operation. So very intensive. In fact, 4 or 5 people were operated for the same duodenal ulcer.
In Kaduna or in Kano?
In Kano City Hospital.
From the same school?
Not from the same school.
Okay.
Yes, because I was the only one in the hospital. I spent 6 months in the hospital waiting for the operation to be done.
Which means your parents or somebody?
Nobody came.
From
only the principal in the school, when they used to come here just to see how I was faring.
Yeah.
Ultimately, in fact, after operating 6 people, all of them died. In fact, one of them was a student. In fact, he died. In fact, I was the one who alerted the nurses that he did. But when they say, I didn't fear.
You became terrified?
No. I allowed myself to be operated upon. They operated into the major operation. And then after 11 days, healing is from God. So I was discharged. And then went to Rumfa. I did my HSC in Rumfa for only 1 year, in a few months. But I succeeded in getting the HSC certificate, which qualified me for going to the university.
Okay, so before we go to the university, share a little of the type of life you experienced in Rumfa College.
Well, in Rumfa College, you see, it was, we were the class of HSC. And there was also proper discipline also there, despite the fact that we were in Rumfa College. In fact, that was most of our principals, a lot of discipline to allow, students to read and pass their examinations.
On your own?
Yes. I remember also, to 1966, we were there in Rumfa College. After the coup, you see, there was a lot of sort of happenings in Kano, when in fact Ronzi took the reign of power.
Yes.
And it was from Rumfa College that we organized sort of demonstration. We called out, during the military, we called out all the students, even in primary school. We went through Kano
to demonstrate
against the change of government.
Who mobilized you to?
It's from HSC. We are top class HSC. We met and then decided to, because there was a lot of...
To show your anger?
Anger.
Against?
Because at that time, if you go to the market, it will show you a picture of this your father who have been killed. So...
in the streets of Kano?
Streets of Kano. It was terrible. So that's, ultimately, there was riots all over the north. The rest is history.
It's history. Okay.
We started it.
So
Because to give all the Northerners a chance to really protest against the unitary government put up by Rossi.
Okay. So Rumfa College, who and who were your school, your mates?
Well,
that you can recollect?
Many of them.
Like
I remember this is Abubakar Sadiq from Kano. He worked in Central Bank. He retired.
Yes,
And also Mutar Ahmed. He also worked in Central Bank. Retired. There's also Abubakar Rano. Also Aminu Bichi, who was at one time Commissioner of Education in Kano, but he's now deceased. So many of them. So many of them.
Okay.
Really.
So the certificate you got from Rumfa College qualify you to pursue university education in Zaria?
Yes.
Okay. I read in your CV that you obtained a Bachelor's of Law in Ahmadu Bello University.
Yes.
The viewer might be interested to hear from you. What influenced your decision to read law?
To read law.
Because you had so many options.
Yes.
Of going for maybe English, maybe going for history, maybe going for economics, political science, public administration, and others.
In fact, you see what happened after my HSC, I served in the university library, ABU, for a year. But then, my mission then was to go to England to read library science so that I can continue with ABU. But when I came to Congo campus of the university, I discovered that they are calling for those candidates who are interested in reading law to come for examination. Because at that time, you can't read law unless you sit for the examination by the faculty board of the university and then go through interview to make sure that you are suitable for reading law.
For reading law.
So I went and then I sat for the examination. I passed. I failed the interview panel. In fact, the entire faculty of law said, they asked questions to determine that you are really interested in reading law. You are also capable of doing so before admission. And only 25 of us
are admitted. Your mastery of English was good enough for you to face panel of interview.
You see, in this Cambridge West African School Certificate, I had credit in English language, credit in English literature, credit also in oral English. We could, at that time, you see, even for oral English in West African Cambridge School Certificate. So I mastered English properly before in fact, sitting for the examination, and I found suitable, and I was admitted. But I had a lot of challenges from the Ministry of Education then, because they wanted me to read geography.
Which, when you say Ministry of Education?
Yes,
in the Northern Nigerian
Ministry of Education.
They wanted you to read?
To read geography.
Geography.
Because from secondary school up to HSC, the results of my geography was excellent all along. So they wanted me to be trained, to go to ABU, to read geography so that I take the academic line, because that's what they saw in me. So, but I refused. Even they threatened me that they will not even give me scholarship if I refused. But somehow they realized that, in fact, I've already sat for the examination, I passed, and I've been admitted. So they had to release me, to allow me to read law. That's how I found myself reading law, because I wanted it.
So I know law is of, I know law is of, there is Sharia law, there is common law, there is, I don't know.
Yes.
What is
so
your...
In fact, at that time in ABU, you read everything. All the common law and the Sharia law at the same time. All of us, in fact, including even the Southerners who are not even
including
Muslim,
those people who are not Muslims?
Yes, they read Sharia law.
Sharia law?
Yes, it's part in the ABU at that time.
What was the wisdom behind having a non-Muslim to read Sharia?
You see, it's in order to know knowledge of law. Don't confine yourself only to common law. Have interest also, read also the Islamic law to see, because it governs, you see, the lives of both Christians and Muslims in Nigeria. And that's why ABU, in fact, at that time, you must read Islamic law compulsory. You must read it.
Okay.
Yes.
So who, maybe, I'm sure the viewer too here would like to know, to hear from you, some of your university mates.
Well, my
as
university
law
mates, you see, so many of them are now late. You see, Solomon La from Governor Plateau State was my classmate. He's also Gigi Golu, also from he's also from Plateau. He's my mate. And also there's Ladidi Gofwan. In fact, she was a wife of one Colonel Wali, I think. Well, she was also our classmate. So Ali Eri, this former administrator of the National Judicial Institute, was also my classmate.
So how was life in ABU as a young student?
It was well, honestly, we have been in we read, and then we have been interacting very closely with all.
You were like a family.
Yes, like a family. Yes, like a family. You see, the present ambassador of Nigeria in Saudi Arabia, Isa Dodo. See, we are neighbors. His room is number 34. I'm number 33 in hostel 3. So,
which means you are.
Yes,
you were admitted together.
Yes, he read law also. So many. The fact, you see, after what they call Bulgaria is the allowances paid to students. If they pay us, there are a lot of some of us. In fact, there was one chief student who opened his door, put stone, leave it open. He will go out. Or don't look for him. If you come, he's no more. So very, very cordial. In fact, we enjoyed our life in the university, and belonged to so many clubs. It was really good time in the university.
Okay. You were supposed to spend how many years in ABU?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
At the expiration of the 3 years,
yes,
you were a graduate of law?
Graduate of law, LLB degree. That's what happened. In fact, so Solomon La, Justice, well, so many of us, they have all gone, they are dead. In fact, this one from Kazaure is also dead.
So, going from, so after you obtained the certificate of or Bachelor's of Law in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria,
yes,
you went to the law school?
I went to the Nigerian Law School. Then it was only one campus. It was in Lagos. And that year, you see, it was the end of the civil war. You know, Nigerian civil war came to an end in 1970. So it was there also we graduated. So many Southerners who read law in the UK and other countries came back to Nigeria to join the Nigerian Law School. So in fact, the school was fully engaged with students who can now come to...
Who came from abroad?
Abroad, because at that time the war had ended, so the opportunity is to read law and pass for the BL.
Okay.
Yes.
So probably your first trip, to cross River Niger.
Yes, it was.
It was. How was that?
It was an experience. You see, I've never gone to Lagos for anything, but all of us from the north, we used to travel by train. We all converged in Kaduna and then travel to Lagos. No.
How many days?
Sometimes 2 days before we reach Lagos. So it was a very Herculean task, you see, to read at that time. But most of us coming from the north, people they identified. In fact, all of us passed. All of us. But they think those Southerners, they see, because some of us really enjoy themselves, not reading, drinking and so on. But all of them, they are saying that those, they speak Yoruba, that those from the highlands, they are wasting their time, they will not even pass. By grace of God, all of us passed. the examination. In fact,
Northerners,
yes. In fact, we entered the train from Kaduna to Lagos because OFR were fully confident that we would pass. It was in Ilorin that we bought Daily Times, where the results were published. We read the result.
Your names were there?
The names were there. So we proceeded to Lagos because we have absolute confidence that we will pass.
And you passed?
We passed. And that's how we were called to the bar in 1971.
So what followed after that?
Well,
after the Nigeria Law School experience in Lagos?
After the law school experience, you see, I went back to my state, northeastern state then. It was Maiduguri. So I went, I joined the Ministry of Justice as a People's State Council. And there, in fact, I started going to court. At that time, President Emir of Ilorin, Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, was a senior state counsel in the ministry. So in fact, he was the one who took me to court for the first time. So he was our leader in the prosecution department of the Ministry of Justice. And I learned a lot from him.
Do you still relate with him?
We do, honestly. We do. Because it's hard working. In fact, when he was in the Court of Appeal, even judgments, no time wasted. He would bring his car, we would travel in the writing judgment. That is the dedication.
So it marked the beginning of your career in
the legal profession.
In the legal profession.
Yes.
Wow.
Honestly, and at that time in my Maiduguri, we work harmoniously. And then, in fact, sometimes if I have a case in Mubi, in fact, I used to leave Maiduguri 3 a.m. I drive to Pulka, to Goza, to Mubi.
You drive yourself?
Alone in my car.
The viewer might be interested to hear from you. The first salary you got as a public servant?
Oh, well, it was, at that time, the salary was only 60 pounds. So, in fact, it was great. In fact, at that time, in fact, as soon as we finished, they'll give you a car. I have a car, and I have my...
At what age? What was your age?
I was just 23.
23? Which means when you obtained Bachelor's of Law in Zaria, how old were you?
In fact, 21. Yes.
You obtained law school at the age of 22?
Yes.
A certificate. Okay. By 23, you had your first car?
Yes, already. And as soon as we are employed, you see, you go to Ministry of Finance, then fill the form, and then next day, they send the money to J. Allen or UTC to go and pick your car. That's what was happening, honestly. So everything was smooth. And going to court.
So the first day you drove yourself to Jalungu.
Yes.
How happy were your family?
Yes, they were very happy.
Your friends, relations?
Yes. I could make it. Yes.
Viewer, if you are just joining us, the program is Reflections, and I said in the beginning, our guest is retired Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mohammed Mohammed. Sir, before the break, you were telling the viewer, rather you were sharing with the viewer your experience as a legal officer in Maiduguri, the capital of the then
northeastern state.
So, in the course of time, Gongola state was created.
Yes.
So, which means naturally you were transferred to Gongola
state.
Gongola. Okay.
Yes, that will happen.
Okay. So, what was the experience?
You see, the experience, starting with the Maiduguri, where in fact I started. You see, I have very vigorous training. In fact, I remember I was saddled with the responsibility of pursuing insurance claim of those northeastern state pilgrims who died at Kano, the airport disaster at the time. In fact, I've been settled in from Maiduguri to Lagos to go and represent the state in securing the benefits of those who died. And that's where, in fact, I obtained my experience in that.
Okay. Okay, sir, you are the product of a culture and a religion that encourages a person to get married, or rather to join the family line at a very, you know, maybe between the ages of 20 to 30. What is your story?
Well, you see, when I was in Maiduguri, in fact, 1972 or 73, I was then unmarried. But you see, my family, they tried to that I should marry before even going to the university. I refused until after my education.
Because you said you lost your father at a very early age.
At a very young age.
But your mom,
my
mother was
alive.
Okay.
So that's why, in fact, 1971, 72, I got married. But my wife, who is now deceased, in fact, I've never seen her. Typical Fulani culture. I've never seen her. It was only, in fact, when they finished everything, they brought her to my house in Maiduguri.
It was arranged?
It was arranged at home. I've never seen her physically.
And you accepted it
that
way?
Yes, because from parents, because obey your parents. The rest is history.
They took her to Maiduguri?
To Maiduguri. To my house. In fact, before she died, she had more than 10 children for me. So that's why, in fact, Fulanis, you want to obey you see, elders. So that you don't, if you do, honestly, all you want will just come straight to you.
Sir, I read in your CV that you were made a justice of the Court of Appeal in 1992.
1992,
yes. How did it happen?
Well, you see, even when we were in Gongola State, there was occasion which, in fact, I acted as acting chief judge of the state for 1 year, 1988 to 1989. So to then that I really feel myself exposed to various institutions like the Judicial Committee in Lagos, where in fact judges are appointed. I participated in it, and then after that, when in fact Tribal State was created out of Gongola State, it was then that I moved to Jalingo, capital of Tribal State, to set up a new judiciary there.
For
that's
the
what
state.
I did for the state. And that's what I did. And I did
you are the pioneer chief judge
of Tribal State. But somehow, because my ambition was not to remain in the judiciary of state. So after less than 1 year, I got a phone call from late Justice Akambi, who was the
then president
of the Court of Appeal. He asked me, Mahmud, please come to the Court of Appeal. Then I asked, my lord, I can come, but no, please give me time. He said, just whenever you are ready to come, just ask any of your colleagues, chief judges of various states, to recommend you. And that's what happened. After less than 1 year, the chief judge of my state, I was appointed justice of the Court of Appeal in Court of Appeal.
Which division?
Well, I was posted to Command Division. That's why I remained for about 5 years. And then after that, I was posted to Benin. Despite the fact that I lobbied, the president said, please, Oga, don't take me to Benin. I'm afraid of the situation there. So he said, okay, Mahmoud, it is to Benin that I'm posting you. So go and prepare, go and report. But happily, in fact, I enjoyed my stay in Benin. In fact, all the cases, it was very heavy division.
So what happened to your family then?
Well,
the movement from Kaduna,
my family, in fact, I was ignorant of the situation, what happened in the Court of Appeal. I thought if you're posted to a division, you remain there until you move to the Supreme Court. So I collected all my children and my wives, too, and then we posted back to Kaduna. It was after that I realized, in fact, posting can be done so that we posted to Baden anywhere.
So you stationed the family in one place?
In one place. That's what happened.
Which is Kaduna
in
or
Kaduna?
Jalungu?
In Kaduna.
Oh, okay.
In Kaduna. Because all my children there were going to army primary school in Ribadu Cantonment. So I left them there. I couldn't to serve in Benin. Then after that, I could go back to Kaduna. And after that, I was sent back to Enugu. That's how I've been doing in the Court of Appeal. At that time, you see, even cars were not available in the Court of Appeal. I had to, in fact, use my own car after 6 months before we got another vehicle.
An official
vehicle. So it was a huge sacrifice. In fact, my wives were complaining bitterly. You said coming to the Court of Appeal is promotion, but we have not seen it in the actual reality.
Being translated.
Because when you are chief judge of your state, we have so many things in the house, and then you come to the Court of Appeal, and then even a car we will not have. Yeah, this is not a promotion. This is how I have to explain. This is what happened.
You kept on pacifying them that
yes,
things will get better.
Better.
And they got better.
They got better, ultimately. Yes.
Okay, so and later in life, you were made a Supreme Court judge, to be precise, on 8th of June 2005.
Yes.
What do you know about that?
Well, you see, by coming to the justice of the Supreme Court, you see, there have been so many stumbling blocks. Because at that time, Northeast, the Northeast zone was not represented at all in the Supreme Court.
In the Supreme Court.
In the Supreme Court, since late Bubar left in 1978. So, because of a lot of policy in the judiciary, in fact, the Northeastern state was represented until 2005, from 1978 until 2005, when I was sort of appointed. So at one time, in fact, there was appointment in 1998, the Supreme Court. Apparently, so I was the only one still from the Northeast, but somehow I was recommended, but somehow something happened, and then myself and late Ahir Mustafa were dropped in place of others from the South, because they said some of us in the North were too many. Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court. So there has to be balancing, what they call it. And that's why myself and Justice Ahir Mustafa were dropped in that year, 1998. And later on, Ahir Mustafa was appointed in 2002, and now I was appointed 2005. So this is what happened.
And then the big one, when you became Chief Justice of the Federation, sir, were you expecting it?
Well, see, I was expecting it because the hierarchy, because it has been established long time, since colonial days. You see, if Chief Justice of Nigeria retires,
the person
next to him
automatically becomes.
Automatically. This is done, I believe, in order, you see, to prevent possibility of lobbying for the post. It's only those really competent, and also served for a number of years with credible records that are appointed. There is no point, you see, asking someone to come from outside. So that's why. So I was expecting it because I was.
But I know there have been calls for outsiders to have equal opportunity with those already in the line.
In the line.
I don't know.
Yes, you see, the provisions are there because of the National Judicial Council appointment regulations are there. They have given every legal practitioner who above 15 years of code, you see, to be appointed. It's just the Supreme Court, even the Chief Justice of Nigeria. But you see, the problem is, you see, judging itself is an art. You see, if you are not being in it for a long time, learning through the process, then it's very difficult. You see, for one to be plucked outside, you see, to come and join the Supreme Court without even any background of decision he made, judgments he delivered from the High Court to the Court of Appeal before coming to the Supreme Court. That's the problem. If it will be open to, it will be open. Even now, it is open to any legal practitioner. But you must show the record of really you have done well in whatever practice you are doing. But the aspect of integrity, that's what will be difficult for anyone coming from outside.
Okay.
Because integrity have to be proved in number of years. When you are High Court judge, when you are in the Court of Appeal, because if it is then, only then, that integrity of candidate will be really approved. But otherwise, there may be nothing coming from outside. There may be nothing to put on the scale, other than you have been practicing in the courts, prosecuting this case, prosecuting that case. And that's the problem.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. I'm sure the viewer would like to hear from you the challenges you had, or rather you faced, as Chief Justice of the Federation within the period.
There are many.
Like
you see, it was at the time, you see, this issue of Justice of the Supreme Court, their houses were attacked and so on, because there were accusations that they have taken money from France and so on and so on. So, all, you see, I was terribly disturbed. As a Chief Justice of Nigeria, they should to have your own judges of the Supreme houses raided, and then it be taken away.
Okay, sir. Then I'm sure you equally have your highest point. I mean, what you personally termed as your greatest achievement as Chief Justice of the Federation.
My main achievement was that I left the judiciary intact.
Okay. Sir, I don't know whether you read it to yourself. A justice owner of the courts, who is now in the Court of Appeal, was quoted crying over the workload on judges in Nigeria,
yes,
which he said is far below international standard.
Yes.
Where is he coming from?
You see, workload in the judiciary, there's a lot of it. And you see, most of the complaints vary from court to court. But definitely, if you can hardly find congestion. Some of the high courts who are really working properly. But in the Court of Appeal, sometimes it's choked up by so many cases which ought not be filed in the Court of Appeal. Similarly, also, very frivolous cases used to go to the Supreme Court also, which is not proper as far as I'm concerned. Because we attempted to have the Supreme Court, the Constitution amended, to allow only appeals, very few appeals, on pure law and constitutional matters to go to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
But we have not succeeded in doing that.
But just, I think this week,
yes,
somebody was quoted saying that if he had the opportunity of becoming Attorney General of the Federation,
yes,
he will make sure the Supreme Court is unbundled.
Unbundled, yes, that language is used. But this view, we respect. There is a lot of ignorance in how really Supreme Court operates in every country in Nigeria, including Nigeria. Now, if abandoning, including that, all geopolitical zones, 6 political will have a Supreme Court of their own, then, in fact, the country has ceased to exist. There will be no more Supreme Court to cover the entire country then. If you decentralize, only the zones, every appeal will end up there.
But maybe, sir, he was coming from the fact that the Supreme Court, as it is right now, is overwhelmed.
Yes, in fact, there are lots of cases. I agree. Lots of cases. All these, they are trying their best. They are trying their best to reduce the volume of cases pending. But it is all happened because of incessant. You see, lawyers are impatient. You see, some of them want money. They pursue cases which are frivolous, which are useless. All of them because of the provision of the Constitution that, yes, I'm a citizen of Nigeria, I will appeal of a right. Because it will go. So, in fact, cases will continue to pile up unnecessarily. Because I remember there was a case which I presided in the appeal. It is a debt of 20,000 naira from Kaduna State. What kind of behavior is this?
Okay.
What is causing congestion in the Supreme Court?
Okay. Sir, I don't know. Maybe you can educate the viewers, sir.
Yes.
National interest and personal interest in the dispensation of justice.
Dispensation of justice. Yes. Well, you see, there is a decision of the Supreme Court which was given, in fact, while I was in the Supreme Court, that you see, this issue of national interest or individual interest, you see, as far as you see the law is concerned, you see, once you see the public interest is something which, if care is not taken, may destroy the country. So that is why the Supreme Court, whatever decision, must take very careful so that it doesn't sacrifice sort of public interest at the expense of private interest of single individual. So that is what is the case. Honestly, otherwise, the Supreme Court is working very well as far as I'm concerned, which are left. They are still working. And the matter of amending the Constitution to allow Supreme Court to decide which cables to capture.
Okay, sir. I don't know. You know, there is every reason to believe that Nigerians are putting the blame on the judiciary, on the corruption that is still ravaging the country, that the judicial arm of the government is not doing what it is supposed to be doing, so that, you know, deterrence,
yes,
which is meant to be served. You
see, the blame that the judiciary is not doing enough to deal with particularly these corruption cases. You see, the fact is, the prosecution of those cases lies entirely on the government, on the Ministry of Justice, also or in the UFCs, whatever it is. Unless there is a firm commitment of lawyers to pursue these cases in the court, there will be little the judicial can do. The judges are there. In fact, since I was there, we designated so many high courts where, in fact, this cases could be taken to and heard. But there is little movement. If they continue to be adjourned here, sometimes up to 10 years, a case is pending. You see, a judge will not decide a case on his own. There must be, the prosecutor must come and prove his case. And in such cases, that is why, in fact, there is judicial policy that such corruption cases, there is no way the court will decide acquitted because the prosecution refused to come. No, it must be, the case must be prosecuted. If you are guilty, you are guilty. Well, you're convicted. If you are not guilty, then you will be discharged acquitted. But for the case, the remaining, the fact that they still remain in the various courts is not the fault of the judiciary. It is the fault of those who will come and prosecute. Because I remember when, in fact, when I was even a senior state counsel, sometimes incentive, we decongest this prison, we go and discongest that prison. And that's what we have been doing when we were in the Ministry of Justice serving. But now even sometimes Attorney General would give some of the private legal petitions to prosecute. But all the same, the cases are not moving. That's beyond what the judiciary can do, because the judges are there to prosecute, come and prosecute. Sometimes I feel bitter some of these cases, judge will come and sit down, go, and then prosecutor will say, well, I'm not ready. I have my... It doesn't happen that way.
So, sir, in such a situation, what role the regulatory bodies are they supposed to play?
Well, you see, as far as the courts are concerned, all have made many rules which must fast-track the hearing of these cases. But it is left to the prosecution to come in and take advantage of this. And that is what is not happening. Because if I'm concerned, a case of, for example, culpable homicide or murder, it may not take a week or two, it is finished. But in the cases of armed robbery, you find that a lot of witnesses are there. The victims are there. Come and prosecute them. But they will be lying there, spending sometimes 10 years awaiting trial in prison.
Before a case is disposed of.
Before a case is taken to court. It is very sad.
Now, sir, second to the last question. Yes. If you are to be given another opportunity of becoming Nigeria's Chief Justice.
It is a very difficult question, but there it is. I've left a lot of sort of policies, in the judicial policies, which are in the currently being implemented. You see, some of the cases, if the Office of the Attorney General and Office of the Attorney General of the state, they should put their heads together to make sure that, you see, all cases which are sensitive in nature, which are corruption cases, there must be given priority in the hearing. I had so many people calling for special courts to try them and so on. No, it is not the special that is required. But the judges are there. Some of them, in fact, if there is cases before them, put down the other case. Continue this case on corruption. Finish them. Finish them. If lack of finishing this, honestly, cannot be attributed to the judiciary. So, in fact, what we have done it already, because we have designated so many courts from each state. Any corruption case will go there and then it should be heard. But we find that, you see, a lot of lack of will, you see, to prosecute is there. And some of those who are accused of corruption, they are still even the cases have not gone to court. So the main problem is lack of will on the part of government to prosecute.
Okay. Okay. Now, sir, I know it is difficult for a career that has spanned more than 50 years, but I would want you to share with the viewer your most difficult moment as a judicial officer.
Honestly, I've the difficult moments. There are so many instances of interference in the work of judicial officers. And when I was in the High Court, you see, there was a simple appeal from a decision of Election Tribunal to the High Court, and I was presiding it's a appellate court with another judge. And see, the case is simple. Someone, a member of a party, in fact, contested election for chairman of local government. You see, he did not, at that time, payment of tax when and due was part of, you see, conditions for standing election. But the candidate did not. In fact, we found that, in fact, he didn't pay the tax when due. So all the same, tribunal, in fact, sustained the election. So at the Court of Appeal, the High Court, then it was Gongola State, were handling the cases. There was a lot of attempts made to bribe us. We refused. But at the same time, what the president did, they went to the military governor then. They complained that, in fact, if this chairman of local government his election is nullified, there will be sort of crisis. At that time, Gongola State because it's to Jukun and Tiv. There will be fight. So many lives will be lost. That was the security report. But it turned out, when the governor then tried to see me, I refused. And then in fact, he sent for our chief judge, later, Justice Bubardo. He called him and dressed him down. That we are trying to, in fact, to scuttle, in fact, to bring unrest in the state if we bring down that the chairman of local government. But you see, our chief judge, seasoned judicial officer, he refused to let us go. He refused to let me until we finished. We finished. In fact, we delivered judgment. The chairman, the local government, nullified his election. We ordered for free election. And there was at that time, in fact, mobile police were drafted from Lagos, from all over the country, into Gongola State. In anticipation of riot. Wallahi, nothing happened. Not a single, no complaint at all. And also when I came back to Yola after the judgment, the governor sent for me again. I went. In fact, as soon as he realized I was the one, he came out to hug me. He said, thank you for not allowing me to interfere into judicial matters. And that was about, there was nothing. But there was threat that if something happened, the whole state would be destroyed. And that kind of things, honestly, is very difficult.
Okay.
Very difficult.
Viewer, that was Nigeria's retired Chief Justice Mahmud Mohammed in the program in the last 1 hour as our guest in the program. It is our hope it was worth the time spent being with us. On behalf of the guest himself and the entire crew that made it possible for you to be with us, I remain yours, Muhammad Abubakar, saying, have a nice time.
This is NTA International.
I doubt there is any corner of this country where they want highly qualified Nigerians. And the time has come for merit to become the sole determinant of positioning